Hey, I want to grab a drink after work. Only have $50 for entertainment this week, and if I go to the bar, it's going to be $8 for a drink, and then if I get two, because I'm going to want two, then I won't have enough money to take my wife out on Friday, and then she'll yell at me, and then the kids will be upset. Sorry, man, I can't. Budgeting can be suffocating. So much so, it can do more harm than good. I'm Grady Cool, CEO of Cool Wealth Management. I'm going to show you when being too strict with your money can backfire and 3 ways you can automate better decision making so that you can be good with your money and still enjoy a little bit of freedom. People typically fall into 2 categories: don't plan much at all, or way too much planning. Being too tight on money can sometimes feel like a tiny prison. One of the most obvious places is when you are out at a social gathering. For me personally, there are plenty of times I've gone out with coworkers, friends, out for a drink or a bite to eat, and I look at the menu and my first thought is, what is the least expensive option on the menu? For one, you do look like a cheapskate when you go out for drinks and your first thought is, I'm going to get the cheapest thing on the menu. Or if you go out with some friends for dinner and you're ordering an appetizer as your only meal, unless that's what you really want. But it can give you this feeling like you're not here to actually enjoy company with people. You have to have the least expensive thing possible. Ruining an experience for $2 frequently can make your life a little bit more miserable than makes sense. Another area where this applies is small splurges. This can be taken way too far. I will say, a lot of people have a problem here. But if you have a reasonable amount of self-control, sometimes it is okay to have the option that lets you go a little bit further. If you are unable to have, let's say, a nicer cut of meat, you're able to have a Diet Coke instead of a generic brand, you're able to actually go out for coffee once in a while. Like, when you get to a point where that's no longer an option, it can just feel like all the little things that made life fun are just gone. One of the biggest problems with this is that it makes it very hard to focus on the most important parts of your life when you're already burnt out and all your discipline and willpower for the day has already been used on avoiding spending an extra $1 or 2. What happens? Poor coping mechanisms. So you wake up not very happy about life, you go to work, you finish work, and you just stress. Can't watch Netflix because it's too expensive. You can't enjoy life much at all. I mean, it's very easy to make it so that the extra few hours you have a day, you can no longer go work on some education. Spend it with someone you actually care about. Be able to build some sort of side income. You know, these are things that just go to the wayside because it becomes too hard to focus when there's no little things in life left to have. If we take that a step further, sometimes it can be bad enough that when you go to do your core functions for the day, where you're spending 2 or 3 hours really getting deep work focus done, if you can't focus very well during that time, it makes productivity very hard. Sometimes this can be the difference between whether you get a promotion at work. Sometimes it can be the difference between whether you even keep your job in the first place. Really depends on where you're at in life, and it's hard to make generalities about these things, but not being able to focus well enough because you're stressed or not enjoying your life enough can make it big backfire. Let's talk about 4 ways that you can automate better decision making. First place to start is just automating savings and investments. Sometimes setting up multiple accounts can make this a little bit easier, but generally speaking, if you're going to be investing money into your works 401k plan, into your own investment account, or just sticking it away into a savings account instead of a checking account, having this happen automatically makes it so that you just can't screw up. You'd have to physically go into the other account to withdraw the money. That extra step is sometimes enough of a psychological barrier that you're not gonna do that. One caveat I will give is sometimes even when the money goes into the account, it doesn't go into the actual investment itself. So make sure if you do automate that you do double check every once in a while that the money is going into an actual investment or asset, not just the actual account type. The second one might be a little bit controversial, but I think that you should budget for more entertainment than you really think you need. I'm not saying that you should go spend tens of thousands of dollars on this, but I am saying that if you leave yourself only $50 a week to be able to entertain yourself, sometimes that's reality, but other times you're just being a little too harsh on yourself. And if you were given just a little bit more of an opportunity to go grab a drink with a friend, maybe you have a latte one day, maybe you just feel like grabbing something a little bit nicer at the grocery store, that extra 25 or 50% spending in that area, which is still a relatively small amount compared to your entire amount that you're having each month, can make a big difference psychologically for the consistency you'll be able to bring to your finances. Our third point, if life sucks, and something bad happens, which it inevitably always will, I want you to have a pre-selected coping mechanism that will not ruin your life. If you're someone who, when you get sad, you want to go drink, then eat, then go gamble, you're going to lose a lot of money doing this. If you have a better means to deal with stress, such as go for a walk, go to the gym, see a friend, even if it costs you a little bit of money, it's still going to be a lot better than the tons amount of money that you could lose with really bad coping mechanisms. And my last point is to focus on earning a little bit more. I know this is pretty obvious when I say it out loud, but if you have a budget based off of a 70K a year income compared to a 35 or 40K a year income, it makes it so that it's a lot easier. There is a certain point where budgeting just becomes unbelievably painful if you're not earning enough. Is it possible? Yes. Is it sustainable? Not really at a certain point. Now, if you're already making $300,000 a year, this info is not for you. This is for people that are on the side of things where it's like, is that even livable in your current area? If there was anything to take away, I would say that balance is key. But if you're going to have balance, try to make balance easier for yourself. What is one thing you guys are doing in your own life to make it so that you can make budgeting a little bit easier?